Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45, and in an undisclosed location this time on my way back from Coda. It was an epic weekend. There's a lot to talk about. I think I was mostly right, but I think these guys are gonna all tell me that I was somewhat wrong. So we're gonna find all about it. I want to thank everyone for commenting and liking and subscribing, and please continue to do that. Really appreciate it. We're gonna get this ball rolling. Cheetah, welcome to the show, man. How you doing? I know you're eager to jump into this MotoGP talk and get on track stars a little bit.
Man, the sheriff of Coda apparently is not the sheriff anymore, man. We got a lot to talk about. But yeah, for sure, man. It was a good weekend. Good weekend of racing. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot to talk about, and we're gonna make the intro quick tonight to get into it because before the show started, it was already a lot talking about. So we're gonna definitely air our grievances on air. Lewis, man, welcome to the show. How you doing tonight, man? You like
Good,
me,
good.
stuck somewhere?
Yeah, stuck in undisclosed location. Tired, losing my voice. Coda was a long weekend, but it was a good weekend, man. I had a great time. It was good meeting you finally in person. You know, we've been connecting for a while now, but to me in person is always good.
Oh yeah, definitely, and hopefully we're gonna do a lot more of that stuff. And we're gonna keep this thing rocking, though. Track stars, welcome to the show. And like Lewis says, it was nice meeting you in person after all these months of chopping it up. One of us might have thought the other might not really exist.
No, it was definitely. I think you brought the luck to Pecco, son. I think that's what happened. Yeah, baby! Forza
Listen, man,
Ducati!
for sure, man.
Yo, what a
Did you enjoy
weekend!
yourself?
I sure did. Man, we put a lot of work over there. Dainese put a lot of work over there, but it was amazing to be out there, hear those motorcycles, meet you in person. That was major. I'm super grateful for that. You put this all together last minute, but you did it.
No
And
doubt,
guys,
man.
get ready. Forever Be Cool is gonna have a lot of cool content for you guys, so stay tuned.
No doubt. And let's speaking of cool content, let's continue with that tonight. Let's just we were talking about it before we started recording. Is Mark Marquez the Bill Belichick of MotoGP? What are we talking about, guys?
Bro, man. Marquez, man. Mark Marquez. What a sprint. What a sprint, right? It was a good sprint.
Yeah, yeah. we gonna get to all that, man. But this is the hot topic, man. This is bigger than LeBron James and Stephen A. Come on, man.
Man, I don't know, man. I'll let Lewis go. I don't even want to comment.
We talked about it last week. I talked about it last week. You got to find the limits of the rules. You got to push them. Sometimes you bend them. Sometimes you break them. This time he bent it just far enough, but it didn't break. A lot of people are saying karma got him back during the race. I've said it before. The only thing that gets him is overambition, and gravity is usually what gets the best of Marquez. It's not karma. He was pretty much putting on a little bit of a clinic, got a little too comfortable, hit the gator strips. Those gator strips, if you've never been to Coda, they're pretty serious gator strips, man. When you hit those rumble strips, it's not like a regular rumble strip on the highway. It's kind of like a step down concrete. So when you go through there, even if it's lightly moist, like you lose a lot of traction. But then with the way the gator strips are laid out, thankfully nobody got hurt. I mean, there were quite a few crashes throughout the weekend. But everybody walked away really good. One of the things that I told you guys before it started was when Marquez crashed, it's a good thing he had a good lead because he cut back across the track on a switchback, and that was a little scary, man. And I give him effort for picking up the bike and trying to ride it with no foot peg, But I think once Chantra passed him, like I said, once Chantra passed him, he's like, nah, I'm pitting, man. I can't come in behind Chantra. I'd rather DNF.
That was pretty impressive, Marquez. I can't complain about anything after seeing him do that for about 3-4 laps. That was very impressive. Track stars, man. What are your thoughts about
I
the lack
wasn't
of rules?
impressed. I wasn't impressed. He should be penalized for going out there on one foot, risking all these incredible riders that are super talented and have regard for each other, you know? You can't go out there and battle with one foot peg. Are you serious? Yo, me and Lewis were going crazy. He's like, yo, did you see his foot? Yeah, I saw his foot. I think he don't got a real set. I don't know. I think he's just letting us say, apologizing for that weird
Hey,
move that he did. And then Lewis is like, no, he don't got no real set. And then we like, oh no, he don't got no real set. Oh, and he's battling back and forth with Quattorano. Well, I'm not sure. I think it was Quattorano, and they mixing it back and forth with one foot with one rear set. I said, no, this guy is not doing this. And Louis like, he's gonna keep going. I'm like, he better not. And he's gonna keep going. And yes, he is. Oh my God. They should put him in last place for the next two races for that. Now, George Gogan, he's incredible, man. He's incredible.
I will say this. He should be. I think all the folks that ran off the grid should get a long lap penalty for the next round because the Aprilia boys. I think Bender had slicks, and I think Luca had slicks. And this is mixed conditions, and we're gonna talk about the sprint and all that stuff. But this is huge. What happened? Because we talk about, you look at last year with World Superbike. I forget who replaced Petrucci when he got hurt, and they ended up guessing right and ran slicks and won the race. And the guy may or may not win another race, right? But in that moment, they gambled right and did the right thing. And I think, I'm not sitting here saying Aprilia or Honda, these guys won't win a race, but this is part of racing. For these guys that guess right, the one or two brave one. We think about when Bender stayed on track and won. You think about Oliveira when he did it, and these guys in this mixed, tricky condition. I feel like yes, Mark can move the crowd, and he can apparently move the riders as well, and that happened, and that saved him for not getting penalized. But I think something should happen. What are your thoughts on that? And then we'll move on to the sprint and all that other fun stuff.
I think, should he get penalized? Probably that's up to your opinion, your decision. I think will he is a big question on his star power. I think it has a lot to do with who he is, and especially with everyone jumping in, they're all going to have a voice on this whole thing and not want to get penalized as well. But just touching on even what, so I think just leaving it at that, it's not my decision. I personally think he should, just because it just adds to the drama. It makes someone else want to do it. And then sometime eventually race control is going to step in and shut it all down, right? It can't keep going. So, but speaking on what Trax was saying with the foot peg, I think he was doing that with the foot peg, not to keep continuing to get some points or anything. I think he was just hoping it's going to rain and they can make it a rain switch. That was my thought. When he was doing that, he was like, if this thing rains right now, everyone's going to be forced to pit in and the bikes change, baby.
Yeah, I agree. I think I heard that over the commentator about it. They were already past the restart, and that's when he pitted.
Had enough rain.
But let's talk about the sprint on Saturday, and since we all know what happened on Sunday, will we see something like what the Marquez brothers have done in the first 5 races of the season?
See it over, you mean?
Ever again?
Yeah. Oh, how long? I mean, we some people say we never see another Jordan, we never see another, Lewis Hamilton or whoever. Don't hold me to that. I'm just throwing names out.
I guess I'll go, Lewis. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever come at this high of a level. No. I mean, it may happen in Moto 2, but to continue it happen. It didn't happen in Moto 2 with those boys, right? But somehow it's happening at the highest level. And I think it just takes too much in the universe to go right for that to happen, right? They're brothers that love each other. They're also, the skill levels very close now at this point. They have equal machinery, everything, no injuries. There's so many things in the universe that has to go right. And I'm just mentioning a few. I don't think we'll ever see this ever again at this high of a level. And to say we've even seen it, we've talked about this before, seen it in any other sport, I don't think we have either. Like, I can't think of 2 top dominating high-level men's sports to where they're brothers.
Yeah, a couple of football players, twins, but that was about it. Randy Barber or somebody else?
Yeah.
Kiki Barber.
Oh, Kiki Barber.
Klitschko brothers, but they're not as high level. Klitschko brothers in boxing. they're not as high level, right?
In motorsports, I don't think we'll ever see something like this again, because in motorsports, I mean, it's such a thin line to get to the front. And, people thought that Luca Marini, when he came into the sport with Valentino Rossi, might be that brother combination that did something. But the Marquez brothers are something special, man. I mean, to think the top two guys racing right now came from the same guy, came from the same mom and dad. Somebody collect some specimens from his dad and store them somewhere, because this guy got some magic.
Right?
Yeah.
He got this going on.
Yeah, he got some magic in there, because I don't know what he produces, but then that's quite a sack. But yeah, at this level, man, think about motorsports in general. Think about Formula One, NASCAR, just open car, open wheel, MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3, World Superbike, World Super Sport, BSB. We've never seen anything like that. Even in the US, like the Hayden brothers, one brother excelled and the other ones were really good, but there was never like another Hayden that reached Nicky's status, And so it, again, like Cheetah said, it's really hard to have one kid reach that point. To have two kids reach that point almost at the same time, following each other up the path. I mean, that's next level, man. I mean, we're watching something special. I hope it goes through the whole season. Like, I really do want to see like the two Marquez brothers. And honestly, at the end of the year, man, I would love to see Alex Marquez be the champion. I would love for him to prove, like, you know what, I've been living in my brother's shadow, but don't forget, I'm a two-time champion myself.
Nice. And before you jump in, track stars, the Williams sisters, I mean, they did it in sports and at the highest level. I'll get flack if I didn't point that out. And we see the Drea kids in the Junior Cup battling out. Obviously, it's not the top level, but those are the two that comes to mind right out the back. But what are your thoughts on that, track stars?
Man, I'm about to show. I'm gonna show my age right now, but these dudes remind me of the WWE bushwhackers. They used to do like this out there. That's what we seeing on it. That's what we seeing out here. We got the bushwhacker brothers out there. Now, I gotta hate right now, son. It's not fair what these two brothers is doing to my man Pecco, yo. You got Mister Shake and bake out there. One shake, the other one bake. He's making space for the brother to pull out on us. Nah, boy. It's good that it happened the way it did. We gotta figure it out. And look at this. Like we talking about a guy who makes babies. Valentino Rossi's VR46 got the whole VR46 right there between first and sixth place. It's crazy. Got the whole family out there. Talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
The
All right, let's
brothers,
talk.
the VR46 Brotherhood, baby. The Heart Foundation.
Let's talk about it all. I'll put this out on the table. I would like to hear each of your thoughts on the sprint race and who were the standout guys. We know what happened with Marquez in the top three. I'm going to dive further into that, but just overall, what are your take on the overall sprint?
Yeah, man, overall sprint. I mean, look at lap 2. I just want to talk about that incredible save Mark had where, he was cutting through that last section and he saved it. What a save. I mean, and what a close section to where Pecco didn't flinch too much either. He kept it together and everything happened. And then boom, he falls back 2 spots behind his brother and Pecco. But the next turn instantly goes back killer instinct. Not even a blink of a second, he's back into that mode. So not only has he shown it in riding skill, but just the ability to bounce back. That was amazing. I want to go back to something I said too. I wanted Pecco to kind of get that smile back on his face. I said that last time in the podcast. Man, something's changed, right? In the sprint, he was smiling after the race. He feels like he can finally keep up with him because his pace was improving halfway through the sprint. We saw him really catch up to Alex at one point. And just even talking about going backwards, even Fabio, him battling it out with the VR46 guys, right? That was a good thing to watch too. Yamaha's definitely stepped it up.
I'm not that impressed with Pecco. He still needed
Watch
Mark
your
to
mouth.
crash. I mean, Mark almost crashed. I mean, I turned to track stars as soon as Pecco passed Mark. When Mark lost the front, I said, "Look, he leading finally." It only took 5 races, and then 2
Nah, he
turns
dead.
later, he's back in 3rd place. I'm like, damn, he had it for that much. He was champ again for that much. And then as the sprint went on, yeah, he was catching Alex, but Mark was doing his disappearing into the clouds routine. And I said, look, if Mark does this again tomorrow, if he can get this big a gap in a sprint race, a half race distance, and we get the same conditions tomorrow, I said, what did I say? He was going to win by 5.5 seconds. And when he crashed, he was already up to almost 3 seconds. So he was still putting on a clinic. So Pecco can smile all he wants, but he should still be thinking about the fact that, yo, my teammate is a lot faster than me. And I need the teammate to either have a mechanical or crash to win. And that's not a great way to go into every weekend thinking, damn, this guy is still faster than me. I still need to find something else. I still need to find that extra thing. And even his brother on a not factory bike, he's still giving it to me. He's still giving me the business. So, track stars can cheer all he wants, man. The reality is the reality. The Marquez brother, that's still the top 2 in the field.
Lewis, man, you can't have it both ways. Last year, we talked about Pecco crashing out so much, and a lot of other riders, if he didn't crash out, the only rider that got the title might not have the title. You know what I'm saying? So you can't have it both ways. And I think Pecco's figured out a way to chase titles and not win. And I think he's riding like that. But I don't want to chomp on what Track Stars has to say about Pecco because, they're one and the same.
Yo, this guy right here is so evil down there. That dude is so evil down there. Yo, the whole time he's like, yo, Trax, he got a second and a half. He's building on him. Oh, 2 seconds and a half. He's building on him. Oh, I was like, yo, it's 12 laps. He's like, by the time the race is over, it's gonna be 5 seconds. I say, yo, my brother, are you crazy? Yo, he just lucky he got his brother as the shield. We said that earlier. It's almost, yo,
It's a
let them
fast
both wear
shield.
red. Let them both wear red. Let them both wear red. And my man, Pecco could do the white suit like he was in the what was it, the testing. Let him wear that suit because he's not part of that team. He's definitely not part of. And the hypocrisy of Davide over there celebrating when Pecco won. He's like, yeah, yeah. I'll be like, take him off the screen, please, because this guy lives in Marquez's garage. Like he lives there. We don't want to see you in Pecco's garage anymore, man. Yo, and let me tell you, there are so many more Ducati fans right now wearing that 93 red and out there with Ducati shirts and 93 hats. I'm like, come on,
That's
guys.
true, man. That's why
Come on.
in person this weekend, the 3 of us saw it in person. As I was walking around, I'm like, it's a lot more 93s than there is 63s. I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Yo, trust me, we're gonna see Smitty. Not, yeah, and I'm mentioning you, Smitty. I better not see you with a Ducati shirt on.
Hey, bro, I saw a clip of Davide Tardazzi dancing with Pecco's sister. Y'all saw that? Trying to make it all. You know what that was? That was just like, hey, listen, we like you too, man. We're gonna dance with you too. If you ever get a win over here.
If you watch the race when it started and went right before Mark crashed, everybody's in Mark's garage. And the second Mark crashed,
Yep. Yeah, funny, huh?
hey, we're in the other garage.
Yeah.
So let me ask. The last show we talked about what rain might add or take away from some of these riders. Who were the biggest winners and the biggest losers of taking advantage of the rain? I'll say who I think at the end. But go ahead, Cheetah or Lewis if Lewis wants to jump in.
I mean, since
go
it
ahead,
wasn't
Lewis.
raining, I'll let Cheetah go, but It
Yeah,
you know, it didn't rain. It didn't rain.
Was
It rained
Q2
on.
rain?
It rained on. It rained
Q2
on
was rain, right?
Friday.
Q2
Yeah,
was
yeah, it
wet.
rained on Friday.
Yeah, Q2 was no, Q2 was dry.
Am I wet?
Saturday was dry, Friday it
That's
rained,
right.
and then Sunday was mixed conditions for most of the
Right.
day.
Right. Q2 they went fast. Yeah, they went
Yeah.
decently fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember now at this point who it affected, but it didn't really affect anyone at the end of the day, right? Because yeah, I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Yamaha.
No,
Yamaha
hell
also.
no. Yamaha
So,
definitely.
yeah, they got a
Yamaha definitely
Q2,
benefited,
two
and so
Yamahas for
did.
Q2, Honda, two Hondas and two KTM's in Q2,
Yep.
and six
Mm,
Ducatis.
okay, from FP. Yeah, I got you.
The rain. Listen, even when me and Lewis there on Friday, since Thursday, we already knew like, yo, this is gonna mess up the setup for the sprint and the race if it dries up because we were anticipating 2 dry days on Saturday and Sunday, and we got the rain on Friday, which we was planned that you could look at any weather channel, you know it was raining on Thursday and Friday, and you know that Saturday and Sunday were supposed to be 2 very nice days.
Yep.
So the rain definitely helped out a lot of riders in the qualifying. When it came Saturday, all that out the window because it's good conditions. Let the best of the best reign free. When it came race day, you saw a lot of bikes in the mix that you didn't think was gonna be in the mix. And it was really cool to see that. But nobody felt better this weekend than my man Luca Marini and my man Fabio Quattorano. Cause they was looking crazy, especially Quattorano. Lewis
Yeah.
tells me, say Lewis, what did he got? What's the code? Up,
Oh,
up, down,
he got
down.
the up, down, down, left, right. 'Cause I mean, we know that the Yamaha is down on top speed. So for him to come in the sprint race, to come in the top 10, to come in at what is it, six, I believe, he finished the race.
Yeah.
Six. Yep.
And
Easy.
if you see the poor guy in the back straightaway, I mean, he was getting eaten alive. But then he was braking so late and making up all that lost ground in the brake and using the corner speed and the exit of the Yamaha, the ability of the Yamaha. Like he got more out of that bike than anybody else. And maybe some of that is because it rained Friday. They didn't have a great setup, or the other teams didn't have a great setup for Saturday. So maybe he took advantage of that, was able to get a little bit extra juice and, take advantage of the fact that everybody didn't have a great setup for Saturday. He had a better setup. I mean, unfortunately, on Sunday, the Yamaha did what the Yamaha did. It went backwards. Like it couldn't keep up in the long race, unfortunately.
Didn't Miller did all right? Didn't Miller finish?
Miller did all right, actually. Yeah, did he?
in the race?
Yeah, Miller finished fifth.
Miller finished fifth. But remember, we also had a lot of attrition. We had 5 guys that didn't finish.
Yeah, but I think for the only guy that really pushed him up, it was one spot, right? From Miller.
Dude.
Who went down in front of him?
So at the end of the race, Aldeguer was killing people. If he had just calmed down, if he didn't have rookie jitters, he would have come in the top
doing
5.
good, yeah. Aldeguer and Zarco went down, right?
So Marquez would have been in the front. Zarco finished last. He still toughed it out.
He crashed. Yeah.
So Marquez would have pushed Miller down a spot. Well,
that's it.
Aldeguer would have pushed Miller down a spot.
No, Aldeguer would have.
Yeah, Aldeguer was in
7th,
sixth
right?
place when he went down.
Okay.
So he would have pushed Miller down a spot.
Lewis, if I'd have only said hello to Brooke Shields when I was younger, my life could have been
I know.
What are we doing? What are we doing here, man?
But
Come on.
I will say this.
What's on?
Yo,
I was really.
Lewis gotta say the truth.
Lewis, give the man the props, man. The Yamaha did great. Miller and Quattraro. And I think there's something to it, man. They got something else. If they're lacking on the top speed, they got something else that's making up in the corner. So I think there's something to look out for when it comes to certain tracks like Saxon Ring and all these curvier tracks. They got some juice.
Yamaha has always been a European style track bike. So when they go to Europe, where there's less straightaways, like giant straightaways, like here at Coda, man, this is giant straightaway country. We like to see top speed. We like to see, piss and vinegar on our tracks. We want to see 330 kilometers an hour. When they go to Europe, I think the Yamahas are going to surprise a lot of people on those curvier, tighter tracks where handling and corner speed and just having the right abilities of the bike, the strengths of the Yamaha are going to shine. And I think Quartararo hasn't forgotten how to ride. We saw on Saturday, he can still ride the hell out of that bike. He just needs the right conditions.
Listen, Lewis, if race direction did their job on Sunday, the race would have been completely different. Completely different. Right?
Yeah,
we would have been talking about Aprilia. We would have been talking about Benda. We would have been talking about Marini.
We would have been talking about Pecco and Marquez and all these guys doing their long lap penalty. Pecco complaining that why did I get a long lap penalty?
Hang on. Had they done the long lap penalty, would Marquez have gone down, or would he actually be contending?
No, he probably would have still won.
He probably would have still won. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Podium
nah.
He would have played Sunday, coach, cut everybody up and still won. And Pecco would be complaining that he got a long lap penalty and his valve stem is a quarter turn too loose and chain is too tight.
Yo, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that race start, son. Everybody's out there in their range setup, and all of a sudden somebody decides to put the reset button on the Super Nintendo and start the game over because they're about to lose. What the hell was that? MotoGP, you got to get it right. You had rules for a reason. Stick to them and let people lose on their decisions or start from the pit because they decided to. That was crazy. That was crazy, unprecedented, so confusing. Why? And do it in the U.S. because we're in the U.S. U.S. don't have no rules. What are we? We're the Wild West. You know what I mean? Like, yo,
hey, go for a duel, man. Let's see who wins.
They had Davide cussing on the mic, and when I saw him in the airport, he still looked upset, man. Come on, man. Aprilia could have had one. They could have stole one.
Yo, they sure could have. And trust me, like, yo, Bezecchi looked good out there. We already know those stars. Let's talk about Honda. How the hell? And I'm not even a fan of the Honda. Smitty, you know I hate on your boys, but your boys showed out. Like, showed out. My man Marini is like that. What they call the story about the rabbit and the tortoise, and the turtle just is consistent, doesn't slow and steady, doesn't crash it, doesn't put it down. My man going from 21st to 10th, and then all of a sudden he's in 8th. You know what I'm saying? Like, they looking. Honda has something. I'm excited.
Listen, we all had Bez. We all had Bez on the podium.
Yeah, we all had.
We
all did. And in sprint, he came in 10th. Man, he came in right behind Agura, and but he did better in the race. He did much better. But I bet you, and they were trying to blame Martin. Did Martin bring the juju, the bad juju? The commentators were saying. But what is Martin thinking right now, sitting on the sideline, man? Like, dang, man, I really got on this team. I got to battle against these killers right now on all these Ducatis. Man, I got to come back and really thug it out with Bezzecchi right here in 8th or 9th. Dang, what am I going to do? Do I have what it takes? I bet you there's a lot of questions running on the sidelines with him. And frankly, to be honest, man, it is a Ducati show right now. There's nothing no one can do. All we're talking is about Yamaha. Who's the second best? Is it Yamaha? Is it Aprilia? But it's just a straight Ducati show. So I do think, going back to your point, Rexy, and tracks, I think that there should be a rule. Something needs to happen here where they get penalized for the next race, because then and only then will it give these boys, Honda, Yamaha, Aprilia, even a shot in the dark to do something at the next race.
I don't think there'll be a penalty because I think what'll happen is they're gonna have to clarify the rule, because that's the problem. Is if you don't have a rule that has a definitive black and white. If you leave gray, that's where people end up, in the gray. They find their way into the gray, and they find their way to, get to this place where, like, they don't know what to do. If only Mark had run off the track, then it would have only been Mark, and they would have dealt with that situation again. He would have either started from his grid spot and had a long lap penalty, or he would have started from the back of the grid. You know,
but talk about Lewis.
It would have been an easy decision. But Mark, being the, you know, I hate to say it, he was kind of a little bit of a criminal mastermind. He was literally asking how many guys are on wet tires, how many guys are this. And he knows he has so much influence of all the guys behind him that he waited till the last minute to create chaos.
And he was the first.
And he was
I mean,
the
what
first.
do you expect? What do you expect from
the second he got off his bike? Everybody jumped off the bike. Peck was like, "Oh, look what he's doing! I gotta go." You know, it caused massive chaos. But again, it's because he's got that juice.
Lewis, it's the guy does things on motorcycles. We talk that should never. It should be impossible.
It should be impossible. Absolutely.
So if he can do physical things, imagine how good his mind works. Man, he's a mental strategist. Sun Tzu. They're gonna have a book on him after on mental warfare after he's done, man.
The art of warfare on two wheels.
Lewis said something when we was at the track that I wish he would have said it right now. Something about the rule. Lewis says they probably didn't call they didn't penalize anybody because he said after a certain amount of riders leave the track to go and change for the dry bike or vice versa, if it was dry conditions and they went for a wet bike, that then they forced the stoppage.
Yeah, red flag.
So,
yep.
And that was, I didn't know that. When Lewis said that, we were with a whole bunch of people under the Aprilia tent, and everybody's like, oh, because it makes sense. It's true. If more than half the grid left and there's only 5 bikes to start the race, they're gonna start it.
Yeah.
And you want that many guys starting from pit lane, especially in Coda, where the first turn is a backward left-hander. Like the guy in the back is going to crash and take the 7 guys in front of him out. Like it just created. It's like Marquez knew, yo, I'm going to create chaos. Either that, or I'll just do a long lap penalty myself. I'm still faster than everybody else here.
Wow,
I've done it in the past. How many times has he started from the path of the grid in MotoGP?
Wait, Lewis, what even happens though if they do a red flag and then they bring you in? The race has to start again. They're going to start it from the grid again.
They restart the race, but like what they did here is they eliminated 1 lap from the race. So the race wasn't actually the original race distance. They red flagged, got a new start time, had everybody get back on the grid. You know, and again, this was an odd condition because it's declared a wet weather race. You know, there was a lot of craziness. Now, if that had been a mechanical, if Mark had a mechanical and he was starting from pit lane.
Yeah.
Or he's starting from the back of the grid, one of the two.
Oh, like, look at Vinales. Vinales had issues on his bike and they just pushed it off.
And then he pushed it back because he's like, no, it's good.
He was stuck on the right height, right?
It was so much chaos that Mark caused by jumping off that bike. And I actually enjoyed it because think about it. We're going to be talking about this Coda race for weeks.
Bro, that clip is epic when they when they pan from him and they're showing the national anthem being sung and he's just there standing. The moment it's saying stops, boom, he just dips. That's such an epic clip. That's going to live forever.
Yeah, like that's, you know, we're going to be talking about this for weeks, man, for months. Like this will be a historic event.
Yeah, so let's talk about the first 2 laps of both races, the sprint and the main race, and how aggressive Pecco was. I think the riders in general, I look at the race a little bit different than I think Lewis, in the sense that, like, I think these riders are getting better. I think they're going to catch Mark. I think Mark, from the last race, the second round, he was already shown to be making mistakes on the bike, and his ability was saving them. And his ability this time didn't. And I saw a video where the line that he crashed wasn't the same line that he was taking. He just turned in a little bit too soon, a little bit sooner on that line. But nonetheless, he's making mistakes. Will he settle down and say, hey, I'm trying to win a championship like an old veteran should be? Or is he just trying to sit here and say, hey, I'm just going to punish everybody like a young person and beat them by 10 seconds every race?
Anybody can put a block pass in the beginning of a race, right? The best of the best. The top 5 guys can block pass each other to eternity and mess that whole lap up and then have everyone from behind start catching them. right? I think Pecco, what he was doing exactly that, getting really aggressive. I'm sure he heard it from the last race over and over again from his family, probably from his friends, probably from the comments, if not any of those two, right? That you got to get more aggressive. You got to put it on Mark. You got to up it. Guys like Trax over here shouting it out loud. Say, you got to go faster, Pecco. So I'm sure he felt some of that pressure and put it on him. And that actually worked for him. I think mentally he's unlocked that rut he was in of like, can I keep up with this guy? Those questions you have, because you're pushing your all and you see this teammate who just joined getting away from you. Those questions are finally starting to been answered. Like, I think he's starting to feel more confident and he's starting to get that smile back in his face. So, but as far as Mark goes, that was a mistake that would not have happened if it was dry. That he would not have gone down. And that's a thing he could have saved even if he started to lose the front. That's my honest opinion. So yeah, it's a rain mistake. It's his first rain race in a Ducati. Let's give him a shot. He's gonna do exactly what you said, Rex, which is start putting 5 to 10 seconds on these guys at tracks he feels confident at. Yeah. Now, maybe not at Losail. There's a shot that there's other riders that can pop up there, but he's gonna start doing that soon. And I truly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain tracks that Mark is really, Mark is a left-hand track kind of guy, so he likes to go counterclockwise. So at all the counterclockwise tracks, he's going to be super fast. He's equally fast at clockwise tracks, but counterclockwise tracks seem to be his specialty, or they were in the past. There's going to be a couple of tracks where he's going to want to prove that he's got a little bit extra mojo. And yeah, they're catching up to him, but he still has a little bit extra mojo now. I looked at the race and he took that line once before, I think like 2 laps before, he took that same line and made it. And then that one time he took that line and didn't make it. Unfortunately, that's part of the game. You make adjustments every corner, every lap. You're making adjustments every corner. Every time you turn the bike, it's never exactly the same. You're trying to make it the same, but you're always making adjustments. You went in too hot, you brake a little bit more. You brake in too cold or too slow, so you let the brake go a little bit more to carry more speed. Like, there's always adjustments, micro adjustments these guys make that the normal fan can't even understand. To get these consistent lap times, they're always making micro adjustments. I still think Mark is going to be the guy to beat. The only person that really is going to beat Mark at the end of the year is going to be Mark. His mistakes, errors like that. As I said at the beginning of the show, I actually now really am cheering for Alex, man. Like, I think Alex has the opportunity to do a Johan Mir. He's like, you know what? Maybe I won't win a race all year, but I'll come in second and third and I'll finish races. And at the end of the year, I have more points and I'll win. So my brother might get more bonus money, but at the end of the year, I get my little metal thingy and I put it on the tower. And I'm like, now there's 2 Marquezes on the tower.
Okay. All right. Is that what you're going with? I mean, because, Mark crashed out and Alex, didn't take the chance to win.
Remember, there's a rider right now that won 1 race an entire season and was
Leave Mir alone. Leave Mir alone.
And he's got a little thing on that tower that says Johan Mir champion, won 1 race, but finished almost every single race in the top 5 or top 6, while Pekka, and all these other guys were like throwing it away every weekend. He was just like 4th place, 5th place, 4th place, 5th place, 4th place. Points are adding up. You guys keep crashing. 4th place, 5th place. Then at the end of the season, like, wait a second, I won 1 race.
You have Team Ortega. There's only one rider. It's Mir or Alex. Who are you picking to put on a Ducati?
Oof.
Exactly.
Mir or Alex?
Come on. Yeah.
I'll put Alex.
Mir, okay. Talk about the worst luck this past weekend, Mir.
Yeah, man. Poor guy.
Both races out, man. Yeah. I wouldn't trust him on a Ducati. And I'm just kidding.
Come on, man. He won a world title on a Suzuki. Come on.
Like Lewis said, that's how he won it.
1 race. He won 1 race. No,
gotta show up.
Great rider, but he's on a Honda. He's doing what he can. It sucks that he crashed both races, man, because he wasn't doing bad, man. We could have seen another, Mir, Luca 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, or something like that. Like, the Hondas really are compared to the KTMs and compared to the Aprilias, I think the Hondas are like the most consistent bike.
Yeah.
And even the
I
Yamaha,
agree.
they're doing something right over at the HRC.
Lewis is
Charles, what
Lewis.
are your thoughts?
Lewis is the Russian judge at the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't perfect, he's gonna give you a 6. You know what I'm saying?
I never
After
give
38,
10s. I never give
uh,
10s.
after 38 backflips, you know, and landed properly, just had that pinky, and what the pinky wasn't down,
4.
give him a 6. He's out of here. Nah, my brother. Listen, we really gotta give people like me their credit. You know, he's a champion. That's all that matters. And he won. And even in race conditions, you kept the bike up, you won, you belong. You were the better rider that day. Whether it was snowing, raining, sunshine, you won that day, and that made you the best. Pecco is the best, I called her. Okay. And it really is whack that man keeps putting this bike down. I don't know what's going on. Um, he looks good on it from the beginning. He's one of the ones that when he takes off, I don't know if he's like, um, would I say he's better than Zarco, but even Zarco already put the bike down. But like I said, the one that's consistent and always right there is Luca. Luca will bring that bike home every time. They don't lose no money with Luca Marini out there because that bike comes intact and with the data that they need to keep making it better. So he's an amazing developer rider, just like Big Bro is the man Rashi. But yeah, what y'all think about Miller? Like, what y'all think is gonna happen with Miller? Like the season that I know we already this is the third race, but when you start looking at Moto 2 and you see people like Dixon, Canet, yo, those seats is gonna be come on,
Yeah.
talk to me.
Miller finished 5th. Come on,
Yes.
man. He got another 2-year contract. I don't know he got on the Primac owner, but he ain't going nowhere.
Miller's good. He's doing good, man. In that race for him to come in better than Quartararo and not, he's doing good, especially in those long races. I mean, we'll see. Long race. Let's not get plural yet, right? We got to see.
Yeah, where it was one.
Yeah, I think
Let's talk about Miller and Bastianini because Bastianini finished well too. So let's talk about those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis, you can go on this one, man. I've said enough about our boy.
well, for Miller, I think Miller is showing a good consistency. Like he's not crashing. He's doing the right things to stay in the mix. I do see Moto 2. I do see there's a lot of talent in Moto 2 that's coming. Honestly, if you ask me, I think Jake Dixon has a better chance of winning a gold in women's gymnastics than getting a MotoGP ride. Like they're not trying to bring almost 30-year-old riders to MotoGP. Look at all the rookies. I don't see a 28-year-old rider in MotoGP as a rookie. It's just not happening. I can get a 19 or 20-year-old that's just as fast. I mean, Tony Arbolino, these other guys are just as fast. And they don't come with all the baggage. They don't come with any issues. They're young guys. They're hungry. I'd rather get one of these guys that I can have for 2, 3, 4, or 5 years if I want to continue their contract versus a guy that's already in his late 20s. I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality. As far as Miller, I mean, he's getting up there in years also, but look at Rins. Rins isn't a spring chicken, and unfortunately, on the Yamaha, he's not doing well. If somebody told me today you have to pick one guy that's not going to be in MotoGP next year, I'll say Alex Rins.
Wow.
Because he's not showing me nothing.
Dang.
All right.
So I say Miller's safe, but other guys, when they get to the halfway point of the season, we're going to see other guys are going to be sweating for seats, man.
Listen, man, Rins finished right behind Quartararo in 11th.
He did.
It's still 11, man. Quartararo finished 6th on Saturday. Rins finished back in the teens again. Like
Russian judge.
Russian, a 3, only a 3.
Yes, but Bastianini is showing that maybe KTM is not a problem. Maybe KTM is putting a bike out there, but we're all so focused on Pedro Acosta and seeing him crash um every other race that we think that the bike is the problem. But KTM putting up a bike to battle in the beginning. Vinales was out there. I mean, it looked like it looked like he was gonna pull off a double Batman last year and now come back with the Batman suit again. But then I don't know if the mechanical, what did he blow the engine on purpose? He didn't want to be out there. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell going on with Vinales, man. But to see Bastianini up there, that it showed the bike got something.
I don't know, man. I think if it was Bastianini, I'm still gonna put him third in the KTM in the KTM lineup. I'm still putting him third. Yeah, I think Acosta is gonna show us something, and I think Binder is gonna show his racecraft, just his handiness when it comes to later in the races, coming in top 6 consistently. I'm still very curious to see for Bastianini. He's got more to prove. He didn't do hot in the sprint. He did better in the race, but also Acosta fell off, right? So still we have to see. I'm not going to just bet all on him, the whole house on him yet.
So with Lewis on that. You with Lewis on that. It's the bike, not the rider, huh? With Bastianini.
Listen,
it's the rider for Bastianini. That's what I'm saying. They're on the same platform. I'm gonna put him third.
That's what I would say too. I would put him third, and again, if all things went according to plan, I mean, he's only in the position he's at because 5 people ended up in the crash truck. He's not there because he was faster than everybody.
What are we doing? What are we doing here? We can't.
It's important to put some context to it.
No. You gotta finish the race.
Listen. If Miller were still on KTM, Miller would be 4th in my lineup. Right, but now it's who's left. I mean, Brent Binder's got that racecraft, the history on KTM. Acosta's the new money. You got to put money into this kid. Who else? Who's the third guy?
Binder and Acosta are outperforming Bastianini on a regular.
Yeah,
that's
not this year. Not this year, but
not this year. But look at the sprints, look at the practices, look at the qualifying, and look at where they're starting. And they might not be finishing, but consistently, those 2 guys are outperforming Bastianini. There's no doubt about it.
As they should. It's only his 3rd round on the bike.
As they should.
And
But it's also, Miller's on a Yamaha for like what, the 5th race? And a Yamaha is not supposed to be as good as a KTM.
He's not on a Honda, so it's like a Yamaha.
The top speed animal. Like,
yeah, I will say Bastianini. It's only like him and Vinales. It's only 3 rounds, and they're staying on the bike, and they're in the mix. Yeah, I think it's too soon to tell. And you're right. Brad and Acosta should be 1 and 2, but Acosta's crashing out, and 3 more rounds. It could be different if Acosta's crashing out. And they're not making much a bigger deal about Acosta this year as last year. I mean, because he's crashing out.
Yep. But
it's because he's young.
Yeah, VR46 is also pursuing him heavily to try to get him over to them because they know that guy is a talent. That young guy is a talent. That guy will outride most of the grid on the right bike. Or at least he'll be in the top 5, top 6 consistently on the right bike. He's not on the right bike.
So what are you trying to say? Ducati's trying to get a big 3?
Big 3, man. Big 3 Spaniards. Kick those Italians out, man.
I want to do an impersonation real quick. Who is this? That's Rossi when our boy Mark went down. That's literally him. So happy. Never before.
Yo.
Oh my God, the boys move up a spot. My boys, they move up one spot.
Yeah.
Yo, Rexy had everything to be happy about. 1 through 8 is VR46, except your boy Alex.
Yo,
Like,
I'm saying, if the biggest hater on earth right now, Mark Hater, Rossi, he's definitely happy that he went down. Because who's at the most risk right now? Whose legacy is at the most risk right now?
Rossi.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Rossi! Come on, Rossi's
No.
legacy is
it's
like Jordan's
untouchable.
legacy. Come on.
His
It's
legacy is
untouchable.
his, but some of his
Everyone
stats are in trouble, but his legacy is cemented.
Not legacy,
Yeah.
but the stat. You know
But
what we're talking about,
But it's
man.
the same
When
thing
we
with
said
Michael
Kobe,
Jordan.
when Kobe was going for that 6th, who were we talking about? Jordan. We're talking about he's going for Jordan. It's
And
just
even
how
now,
it is.
people will say, "Oh, LeBron got more points than Jordan." It only took him 17 more years than Jordan to get those points. So
Yeah.
Jordan's legacy is in cement. Rossi's legacy is in cement. There's certain guys that legacy.
Yeah.
Even Marquez, even though he's still riding, his legacy is in cement, man. What he
Yeah.
did,
Yeah,
with
that
riding
nah,
It's
I
done,
agree.
yeah.
is another world.
I don't think we'll ever see a rider like him ever again.
I
Not for
don't-
100 years.
I don't
Not for
see
100
it.
years.
I look
Well,
at
I
Moto
mean, if
2,
I-
Moto 3. I look at all the other classes. I don't see anybody that impresses me the way Rossi impressed me, or that Marquez impressed me in those classes.
Yeah.
I don't see the
So
consistency
Acosta-
of those two guys.
No.
Acosta
Acosta
and
is
Herman
Jordan.
Alligator are
Acosta is
not
not the
they. Okay.
Well, what are you talking about? Look at the rookie years, man. The
Yeah.
guys we're talking about versus the guys you brought up.
The
Not
guys
even
we're talking
close.
about went to top teams. They got pushed through. They won championships in every single class they were in. Like they cemented themselves. Rossi and Marquez, everywhere they went, they put their footprint down. I'm the best in this class. I'll beat all of you on any given day.
Yeah.
125, 250, 500, and 900 cc's, GP. Every time they put their foot in a class, I'm here to kick everybody's ass. I'm not here.
Yo, not
So
everybody's
not
gonna go.
that guy is what you're saying.
I'm not here for 3rd or 4th place. Yes, you are, bro. Yes, you are.
No,
you ain't a Rossi. You ain't a Marquez.
Come on, man. You got 2
Easy.
titles. Come on. Put some
Easy,
respect on the
easy.
name.
Yo,
Respect
for
on the name.
real.
Come on.
Please,
Come on.
please put the
Nobody
respect
wakes up in the
sauce.
morning worried about Pecco. Everybody
Wow.
wakes up in the morning worried about Marquez.
That is not true.
Wow.
The last 2 years, 3 years, they worried about Pecco.
But let me-
tell me this.
And nobody worried about Mir after he won, and they weren't worrying about.
Well, nobody
Quartararo
needed
after
to worry
Quartararo
about
won.
me. That was
But-
a fluke.
Wow.
Yeah, tell
I
me this.
dominated from the back. I
Tell me this.
dominated from the back.
Who would you pick? Prime Pecco or Prime Stoner?
Stoner all day.
Yeah. So you
No,
think
no, Pecco.
come on.
Pecco
Pecco hasn't.
Stoner.
Pecco hasn't stepped away yet, and Stoner did.
This was a
Stoner had
rhetorical
medical
question,
issues.
to be honest, Rexy. This was a
I'm
rhetorical
not.
question.
I'm not saying he didn't, but like you know what I mean. Though it's kind of like if we get the people that like we know what went wrong with the guys before the current guys.
All I'm gonna
right?
say
You
is
know?
this, man. All I'm gonna say is this: if Stoner was on the same team right now with Mark, they would be totally different. Totally different. I wouldn't see no Alex nearby. That's
Nope.
all I'm gonna say.
Listen, I think
Again, decades and eras make riders. If you put Pecco on the shitbox Ducati that Stoner won on, Pecco would
stop it,
crash.
man.
But guess
Yeah.
what? You know who they put on that bike? No. You know who they put on that bike? Valentino Rossi. What did he do? He ain't do jack shit.
He wasn't on Stoner's bike. What are you talking about?
That's right.
Yeah,
He came after Stoner. It was supposed to be a better bike, and Stoner still won on a shittier bike
Yo,
that Rossi
look-
couldn't win on, or nobody else
Nah,
could win on.
hold on. Let me tell you
Bad shoulder,
something.
man. Bad shoulder.
Valentino
Bad shoulder.
Valentino Rossi developed a bike that Jorge Lorenzo received. All right, and that's a
Bullshit.
fact. That's
Yo,
a
you know who
fact.
developed the bike? Gigi
No,
Dall'Igna.
Stop it.
Talk
Hold
about
on.
Gigi.
Hold on.
Ducati
on,
He's
we-
talking about
sends Gigi
he's
$1
talking about
million
Yamaha.
check every week.
He's
Yeah.
talking
We
about
ain't talking
Yamaha.
about that. Yo, listen. When Valentino Rossi went over there, he was riding a bike that was unrideable. By
Who
the
rode it
time
before him?
Who chose to go there?
Who rode it before him? Who
say the name,
rode it
so you
before
feel good.
Rossi?
Yo,
Who won
listen.
on the bike before Rossi? Say the name. Say it. Say it. It starts with an
No,
S.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it.
Yo,
I'm
Cheetah,
not
you want
saying
to
it
tell me
because
who
I
won
got
on the
nine.
bike before Rossi?
Who was
No,
it?
I got
Cesar?
nine.
Was it
Nah,
Jim
I'm not.
Renault?
I'm not. He
No.
got invited to
Who
his
won a
ranch
championship
recently.
on
They're
the
friends now.
MotoGP
I
Ducati?
can't
They're
hear both of
friends
y'all.
now.
Hold on. 1 sec. What you
Who
saying, Lou?
won? Who was the last rider to win on a MotoGP Ducati before the
They,
current iteration of the Ducati?
we don't need
On
to
the
say his
MotoGP
name. They're
Ducati
friends.
before it was
It's
They're
Stoner, right?
friends.
It was
yeah.
Stoner.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
they're
from
friends now.
Stoner,
It's over.
so from
Got invited to the
Stoner,
ranch.
listen, from Stoner to Pecco, all the riders that rode that bike, Lorenzo, Rossi, Andrea Dovizioso, none of them won a championship on developing better bikes. Stoner had a shittier bike that nobody could ride, only him because of his riding style, and he won a championship. Rossi went to that team on a slightly better bike, couldn't win shit. Lorenzo went to that team as the bike developed because DG Delinea came in to fix the bike, and Lorenzo was able to win a couple of races. How many races did Rossi win on a Ducati? I'll give you a guess. It's a very round number. Very round number.
How many did he win on the Yamaha?
Oh, bro, we're not talking about Yamaha. You're talking about that the
Yeah, but you're
Ducati.
talking about they couldn't win on a bike. Stoner wins on the bike.
So you're
You want to
telling me
bring up
Pecco's better
Marquez?
than Stoner?
Marquez wins on the Honda. Only person who could ride it. Then who's the developer of the bike that everyone can ride? When he gets on
Andrea
it, everyone can
Dovizioso.
ride it.
Andrea
No.
Dovizioso.
Oh my
Andrea
God, you
Dovizioso developed the bike that everybody's riding now. Don't give me no
Okay.
shit.
blasphemy.
All right. Hang on, boys. Listen, I think there's something to the fact that the best rider always wants the best bike. They want to cement their name into the legacy of MotoGP. They're always going to go to the best bike. So, do these riders make bad decisions going to the bike they think that's going to take them to there? Sure, right? And then it's ultimately it's like picking a team for basketball players. They have to pick the best team that can take them there. And sometimes they
No.
have to develop the bikes with this process. They have to go in there and develop them. And sure, it's the bikes also got the potential, but they need a rider with potential to develop the bike sometimes. And Stoner was that guy at the time, man. He developed
Let
those
me
bikes.
let me shut this
So
down right now.
hang on 1 second, track stars. We started this by saying, with Lewis said he'd rather have Stoner
Yep.
versus Pecco,
Yep.
but they both have 2 world titles, and
That's
I'm
right.
sure Pecco's check was bigger. But I don't.
Inflation.
But so that's how we started with that, and I don't know what the case is to be made, but go ahead, track stars. I'm gonna let you do it.
Who has more
Yo.
pure
And
talent?
then
That's
let
the
me
case.
just preface that by saying I brought them up specifically because they do have 2 each, right? And
No,
one exited a little too prematurely.
Who has
listen,
more pure talent? That's all I want to know. Who do you
he
believe has
exited
more pure
because he
talent?
no, he exited because he couldn't hang with Rossi. But let me shut this down right now because this needs to be said. Nobody talks about this, and it really needs to be said. Yo, the only person that's a developer in MotoGP in the history, his name is Valentino Rossi. The only one with actual academy in MotoGP where he has 8 of his riders in the top 8. Can you even imagine something like that? And who developed that Ducati? Rossi did. He's the
Cheetah,
man.
have you heard anything about a problem in the planes where they letting like the oxygen is too light? Because I know he flew home. Maybe he got some brain damage from breathing in some
Only
crazy shit in
rider
the
ever,
planes,
man. What
but
are you talking about, bro? The one that just went
Yo,
down in the race at Coda. He's probably developed Honda the most. That guy
Yeah,
probably developed.
he made that bike unrideable.
Oh, come
he's the
bro,
on,
only
he
one who
right?
could ride it.
rode around the problems of the bike.
He made the
He
Oh
didn't
yeah.
make the
my
bike
God.
No,
unrideable.
listen. That bike was faster than the original one. It's just the technology developed in all the other bikes so much that they got really fast. They kept breaking records. I mean, they're breaking
I'm
records.
not
They just
frozen like
Uh,
this. This is like my reaction to you.
hang on, and then Ross. I mean, Marquez really made it a point where he had to talk to the Honda, the higher ups. And he said in his documentary, it's either I didn't get this for a joke, and he showed his scar. So he's obviously battled with them on changing the changes he need to be made. So from a fan standpoint, just seeing that tells me it wasn't all fun and games, walk in the park. Marquez, you're the champion. We'll give you all the money you need to develop and whatever you need. It wasn't like that.
Hold on a second. I'm going to get in my DeLorean. I'm going to go back to 2011, 2012, the 2 years that Rossi rode that shitbox Ducati. He won no races.
He's on a podium.
He got a podium. Okay. He went from Yamaha, where he was a championship contender, to one podium.
And he did that because he's wanted to go back to Italian roots.
Yeah.
And
that bike was a shitbox. When he left, it was still a shitbox. Because right after he left, the next people that came in still couldn't win. The only person that developed that bike is Gigi Dall'Igna.
Jesus Christ.
He's the one that came in and actually put a frame on the bike, because remember, at that time they used the motor as the frame because that was a stress member that held the front of the bike and the back of the bike. That bike was a shitbox. The only thing Rossi developed was a headache from being that bike 2 years and wasting 2 years of his life going around in circles on a bike that couldn't turn, only had a lot of horsepower, and couldn't do anything else right.
And then it was Dovey came in, right?
And then Dovey. Oh, who was that?
Dovey, yeah.
That guy rode that shitbox as they developed it, and the bike that they're riding today is because Dovey developed it with Gigi Dall'Igna.
Bro, tell me how many races would he have won if Mark wasn't in that race? How many races would he have won?
He would have been a champion.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
man.
There's an Italian that developed that bike, but his last name ain't Rossi.
His name was Rossi, man. You guys don't want to get him the credit, but it's all right.
Rossi definitely was a great developer. No, of course, no one's denying Rossi was a great developer, but I think it goes back to these other guys, man. They got potential. I don't think anyone brought up Rossi here. I think it was between Stoner and Pecco. Who would you pick to be, put on a next Ducati? Yeah. As in, like, who would you put next to Mark? Who would you pick, Pecco or the other two world champion guy, Stoner? Because his name came up earlier. So I was just curious.
I'm sticking with Pecco.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Stoner.
How about you, Trax?
I'm sticking with Rossi.
Oh my God, I knew it was gonna be Rossi.
That wasn't even a choice.
Man, his teacher used to pull her hair out in school, man.
And the reason I say that is that we're seeing in real time that Pecco is dealing with the pressure, and so far he's handling the pressure, right? And I know for Casey Stoner, he had medical issues and they couldn't figure out exactly what was wrong with him and stuff like that to get him continue racing. Where I think for Pecco, he has the skills. It's just mental, whatever. And I don't even think it's mental because, like I said in the last prior shows, he's having the best season since he's been in MotoGP this first 3 rounds. So I really I that's my 2 cents with that. But if Stoner didn't end the way he did, then I can kind of see like it could be different. But Penny Hardaway would have been if this, and Grant Hill would have been if this, and Michael Vick would have been if it's if I had 3 more inches, man, I'll be different.
No.
Pecco's best year, whatever his best year is, and Stoner his best year, and you could plug both of them at a time and say which of these 2 riders is the more talented rider. I would always have money on Stoner.
I'm about to end this conversation now and disagree with me if you don't agree with this. Pecco is amazing. Pecco, no, you can. I know you don't think Pecco is amazing. You know who Pecco is? Danny Pedrosa.
Yep,
at the right time. He's Danny Pedrosa.
Oh my God!
Very great.
Pedrosa was at the wrong time.
That's what I'm saying. And he's at the right time. So I'm saying Pedrosa was the best racer that never won a championship. I think the best racer that ever won. So I'm saying Pecco is that guy. He just has won the championships because Mark has been on the wrong platform, whatever may be. It just so happened he got the best of the situations. But let's see what happens this year.
You know?
So what you're saying is until LeBron James go back home and win a title with the Cavs, he really didn't have his first 2.
Who's LeBron James here? Who's LeBron James here? Not Pecco. Oh, no.
No, I mean,
I agree with Cheetah. I agree with Cheetah. That's probably the best comparison you can think of. Is Pecco is Danny Pedrosa. Danny Pedrosa was an incredible rider that in any other era would have won multiple championships.
Yes, Danny Pedrosa was in every era of
No.
MotoGP.
No.
He was
Exactly
in
what
every
listen,
era.
But
let
that's
me
what
say
I'm
something.
saying.
What
If you
happened on
took
Danny
Danny
Pedrosa
out
and
of
Mark?
where he was at when there was Rossi, Stoner, Marquez, all right, great white sharks, and you put Danny Pedrosa in any other era, he would be the best rider in that area. Like
And
he
what
would, if you
happened?
drop Danny Pedrosa right now
Bro.
on a bike in his prime,
Yes.
he would be at the front of the pack.
Yes. And what
Hang
happened
on,
to Danny Pedrosa? What happened to Danny Pedrosa when he was on Honda with Mark is exactly what's happening to Pecco right now.
Yeah,
No.
Mark
Hang
is getting all
on.
the attention.
No. You
Hang on a
can't
second,
say
guys.
that.
Let Rex start.
Hell no.
Hang on a second, guys. Danny Pedrosa would have won titles if other riders didn't take him out. It's not like they
That's
beat
true
him.
too.
That was part of
He
it. That was
was
definitely part of it.
he was
He wouldn't have
hurt.
won
That's
titles
what.
with Mark in there. No, he
No,
wouldn't.
no.
He was.
Danny
He was.
Pedrosa got
When
taken
he
out a
won.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got.
He
got.
did. Yeah, he
That was
did.
the
He
thing
did.
with him. He's like
Or maybe
Oliveira now.
maybe he's better than Pecco. Then my bad.
No. Danny Pedrosa was
Yeah.
he was beating Mark. He was beating Rossi. He was beating
Yeah.
Lorenzo. You know what I'm saying? But every time
That's
the times that
yeah.
he had close to winning the world title, he got taken out.
Yeah.
And
He
there was
just
at
couldn't.
least
He
two
just
or three.
couldn't.
There was at least 2 or 3 times that could have happened that he got taken out.
One small point was he couldn't break hard, and that was the one thing Rossi was really good at, breaking deep and hard, and then block passing at the end. He could just never make it up.
Danny
Listen.
Pedrosa's Achilles tendon is his bones were made out of crackers. Because he would always get hurt, and it was never his fault. Most of the time
No.
was people taking him out, using
Yeah.
him as a berm or just crashing into him. And he was just such a small guy that any impact. And remember, this is right kind of at the beginning of airbags when they
And
some
no
riders
tech.
have, and low tech.
Just
And-
torso.
Yeah, and just it tore through him, man. Like the guy, I mean, right now KTM got to the point they got because Danny Pedrosa was their development rider.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you that he's still at a very high level. He's still a competent rider. He can still tell you how to make a bike really good.
He was doing wild cards 2 years ago. He was last year.
KTM.
Yeah.
Listen, Danny Pedrosa is a vampire. He's ridden in freaking five generations of MotoGP, and been competitive in certain awards. But to me, he still no one's better than Rossi. That's what this comes down to. You know what I'm saying? Let's close it out like that. You know, nobody's better than Rossi.
The mute button, bro. The mute button.
I love it. Listen, man, that's how it has to be. I think we could go on all night, and we didn't get a chance to even talk about World Superbike yet. But we're gonna have enough time between the next round to chop up with World Superbike and what we think is going to happen. But I'm gonna leave each of you guys that you get your final say before we get out of here. Let's start with track stars first, and we'll go backwards. Besides, Rossi's the greatest.
Besides, Rossi's the greatest. Pecco is done, baby. The next round, stay tuned. We are going to Qatar. And I don't know, but I don't think this is a Marquez track. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even if it is, it's Pecco's track. Listen to my words right now. Pecco is gonna go off. Pecco's gonna be number 1 after Q2. He's gonna be number 1 in the sprint, and he's gonna be number 1 in the race. So get ready. The points are gonna be chopped up. Let's go. Ducati, baby. And the real Ducati, not those new 93 boys. Because that's what you guys are wearing. 93. No real Ducati merch. And I'm talking to you, Smitty. Stick with your 93. Don't put the Ducati shirt on. You don't need it. We know where you stand. Pecco guys, wear your Ducati merch because we're the real ones. Good night.
Lewis.
Yeah, it's hard to follow such nonsense. It really is. It really is hard to follow. It's like following a Looney Tunes. Like how do you follow Daffy Duck? Hey, I enjoyed this weekend. I think it was one of the most exciting weekends we've had in a while. MotoGP, it gave us a lot to talk about. It gave us a lot to chew on. It gave the fans a great experience. Coda showed up again this year. I'm glad that we do have at least one round in the U.S. And I still hope that at some point we go to another venue. I think we've been going to Coda a little too long now. I think there's other opportunities. Hopefully Laguna Seca can get their stuff together and we could do one at Laguna. But if we have to keep coming back to Coda, as long as we have events like this weekend, I think it's great for the championship. It's great for the sport here in the U.S. And again, the controversy. No press is bad press. As long as you're getting press, you're getting press. So let's enjoy it. Let's see what happens in Qatar, 2 weeks from now. I still think Marquez is going to be the guy to beat 2 weeks from now. But which Marquez? I don't know, man. It might be Alex. I think Alex is chomping at the bit to try to get a W.
Track stars, no presses.
That's the Ducati you get when you buy it from Temu.
That Ducati made in China, man.
That's Ducati from Temu.
That one doesn't have an oil leak.
Come on, man.
Listen. All right, look. If there's dancing in the Ducati garage, it's because of Mark. If there's dancing in Pecco's garage, it's also because of Mark, because he went down, right? So right now, everyone's cheering Pecco right now. He definitely, he's given us exactly what we wanted. I shared the same sentiment. A lot of fans wanted to see in MotoGP as far as Pecco elevating it. You always want to see that antagonist rather, for that hero that just gives them enough competition to elevate both of them to this new level. And we love seeing that. So I do want to see Pecco put it on the Mark brothers right now. The Marquez brothers. But I still haven't seen enough from Pecco. He's definitely gained confidence, but I haven't seen enough to be like he's definitely beating Alex this next round or Mark. So I know this next round coming up, we're really going to see everything's now settled in place. The dust is settled, and I think we could truly see the characters come out. So I'm excited.
Nice. Well, my name is Rex45. It's the B4evaKool podcast. The Valentino Rossi of podcasting, the Mark Marquez of podcasting, the Ducati of podcasting, and I want to thank you guys for coming on tonight. We're here for everybody.
That was fun, man.